Yes, I'm setting up a new garden in the wilderness. Now, is that smart or stupid? I really don't know yet. Inside a fallen tree. How beautiful. Isn't this gorgeous, this sage? Hi, it is Robbie from Southern California. We're going to do a garden tour May 1st. We're still chilly and we're still behind as far as what we should be growing. Why we are, I don't know, but you know, the weather's changed the past few years, and each year it seems like it's a little different. I'm actually pretty much done with the chair garden as far as growing or as far as putting things in. There's still a few more things I'm going to add in here. I'm really excited about the tomato that's going to be there. The watermelon, they're hanging in there. They are growing on their own. I composted a watermelon in the rainbow garden and they're coming up everywhere. I'm trying to move them, but the problem is our nights are cold and now they're saying we dropped 30 degrees. I don't know, we'll have to see. This week is going to be really cold. I've got eggplant that I grew from seed. I've got peppers in there. I'm just protecting it a little bit from the wind. We'll see how that goes. Tomatoes, and I put a picture in here. This is really cool. This is a giant pitcher and it's from Dollar Tree. And believe you me, I bought a whole bunch. So I've got different squash through here. Most of these are zucchini. I'm going to change out some of these and put something else in there, but I'm not sure yet. It could even be geraniums, because geraniums really grow really nice when you start putting them in here in the compost, you know, with the plants, and then they really take hold. That, hopefully I'll get to it this week. The only reason I'm covering it is I need to get the video together, because if somebody saw it, they might copy it, but they'll miss out on the points I have to say. So this way I want you to get it right when you do it, if you decide to do it. So behind the curtain will hopefully be later this week. And then I've got more tomatoes in there. I've got cucumber. I've got, let's see, this is a cocoa zell. I don't need this. I put this on at night just to protect it in case something wants to come by. But it's growing. It was really tiny, so it's doing real good. See, I have to get through there because there's a lot of tomatoes coming up. Now this is just cuttings, nothing more than geranium cutting. And then this came up. Oh, this didn't come up. This is a cutting off my deck. The tomatoes grow a whole bunch of teeny little tomatoes, so we'll see if it makes it. If not, I'll swap it out. And then this one here is a sun gold, and I think I'm going to put a sun gold behind the curtain. Haven't decided yet. More watermelon, but I don't know if they're all going to make it. That one's actually taking off. So we'll see. I'd like to get 3 in here. I'd be really happy if I got 2. Ignore the bags of soil, because it's another video I want to put together quickly on what I am not using and why. And so we'll get into that another time, and what I'm going to be doing with it instead of throwing it out. All of these. Some of them are good and some of them are not. All right, so the truck bed, I'm getting close to turning this thing upside down. In other words, I'm not going to plant like this, and I think I'm taking out the fig leaf gourd. I want to plant what's going to be good for me and what I'm going to use. I'm putting out a lot of effort, just like you are. So you want to plant what you're going to use. And it just so happens I don't use this. I have tried it. I don't like it. Now I have used them when they're real tiny, and that's okay. It's almost like zucchini, not quite. Zucchini is the most unique vegetable. We're going to go over that this year a lot, because that vegetable can be anything you want. You want it to be meat, it will be meat. You want it to be a vegetable, it will be vegetable. That has kind of a flavor, almost the sweetness, so it kind of takes away sometimes from what I'm trying to do with it. So I think I'm going to take it out. Since Gary grows so much of it, and let me tell you something, I haven't seen him eat it either. I'll let him grow it, and this thing is all over. This is a very unique vine. I only have 1 plant in there, but what it does is it runs, and if it lays on the ground, like tomatoes can do, it sets root. So you'll end up with not 1 plant, but a ton of plants. You know, if you take a tomato plant, I've seen it done at a friend's store, behind their store. It just grew wild. I've had it grow wild here too. And as it grows and sprawls along the ground, it continues to set root, which is absolutely gorgeous. The only problem is, the reason I don't do it, and Gary has done it, I had it out here at one point. It was growing along the hillside, and it was just growing everywhere. But you lose out 90% of those tomatoes because critters come around at night. It's right on the ground. I mean, it's like, come on, come get it. So it's kind of like not a way to grow it unless you want to grow it for fun. Oh, you probably saw it in here last year too. I had it sprawled out everywhere, but I got very few tomatoes off of it because animals got it instead, like pretty much everything. So that's why I don't do the tomatoes that way. I want to do them where I have control on them. So what's going on here? I've got the nasturtiums. Look at the nasturtiums up on the hill. Is that gorgeous? The whole hillside. It's got 2 or 3 colors. We have the yellow like Gary has in his garden, and then we've got the beautiful deep orange, and some of them are even brighter. They might be the red, I'm not sure yet, or it could be just a real deep orange. I have only gotten to maybe about half of these totes, but I'm hoping this week to get to most of them. This was a mistake, though I know it was a mistake. I did it as a mistake. I need to get this out because none of these are going to grow, but this is what I'm looking for. See this? This is exactly what I want. These are all males. Why are they all males? Because these plants are stressed to the dickens, and that is exactly what I wanted to do. And let me tell you something. I came here yesterday and none of these flowers had opened. These are opening now. This, oh my goodness. And I need that so bad. So as soon as I do this video, I am running back up on the deck because I have some female flowers opening, and I've got some female flowers we'll see in a minute, and that's what I wanted. I was hoping by not taking it out and planting zucchini around it, like look at how big this plant is. This one's only been in here, what, a week and a half, 2 weeks? Those have been in there for over a month, and this one's bigger. Why? Because this has the whole tote. Same thing here. Look how big this is, already getting flowers, and you know what? I am not pulling that out. I was getting ready to pull that out this week, but that is going to give me my fruit. Because if these throw females, not at the same time with males, I will have no pollen. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to go ahead and get these flowers off, and I'm going to get them in the refrigerator. And this way I am going to have all these male flowers. I'm so excited because Gary said he needed one too. Another zucchini, doing really good. And it's already getting ready to throw flowers. So I should have a lot of zucchini. It's just going to take a little longer than I had hoped, but that's okay. And let's see, how many male flowers? I'm really jazzed about this because look at this. Even this one, all these coming up are males. You know why? These are so stressed. They don't have the ability. Let me see. Look at this. They're so stressed. I'm hoping you can see in there. There's no female flowers. See that? All these have the straight stem. See it? Straight stem. Those are male flowers. So by being so overly stressed, the plant cannot produce, which takes more energy to produce, is female flowers. So this is really cool. You know what? Let's take one. Let me see. That one's open. I don't know if I can do this with you one-handed, but I got enough now that I can play around with it. See, this is a male squash. All the squash will have either a fruit right underneath where the petals are. There would be a fruit here. If it was a female and going to produce fruit, there would be a fruit there. There's a little bug there. Isn't that something? Not one has a female, yet these are all producing females in here, and the ones that I've got other places, because they're so full of nutrition, the soil, the way I set it up, with all the leaves in there and all the food matter, that it just wants to produce right away. Nothing here. I've got to get my potatoes out. Maybe I'll take you with me. It's not going to be much. See, I didn't take care of it. I got green potatoes. I'm not worried about it because when I take it out, I'm going to set it up better. I'm going to keep an eye on it, and I'll put the green potatoes underneath, and I'll start new potatoes. I'm not sure if I'm going to do any cardboard boxes. I really want to grow what I want to grow, and I want to grow right. What was interesting on this is all these cardboard boxes that were in there last year, they didn't break down. When I get them, set up in totes, all my plants with wood and bark and branches and kitchen scraps and leaves, when I go back afterwards, everything broke down. The earthworms were there, the microbes were there. But here, it turned out to be, everything was kind of left. Look at all the chunks of wood and everything. All that would have all been gone had it been in a tote. Maybe that's why the plants didn't do that well. It's fine if you have a growing season that's 3 months. You could probably get away with it. But our growing season is longer than that. And sometimes I try to extend it into the fall and into the winter, and it would never work in a cardboard box. And plus I had to lift them all, get them out. Sometimes you don't know that the boxes have reinforcements of string and plastics, and I don't know what they've used in the paint. So I decided I probably won't unless I set up one. There is my zucchini tree, and this is what we're going to try. I think it's too late. This was open yesterday, and it is too late. I wonder if I can tear it open, see what it looks like. Hold on. I don't have any way to do this unless I had 3 hands. Oh, not good. But I'll show you how to do it anyways, and then I'll go back later and see what other ones need. This is what you would do, but see how it's kind of rotted away? Because it's rotten, it won't be able to pull the pollen up that it needs, but I have nothing to lose. Maybe I'll be lucky and get something in there. And there is pollen on there, I can see it, but I see that it's all dried up. So because of that, it isn't going to work. Now, I'll tell you what's good if you have plants that are only throwing male flowers. You can fry these. People eat these. These are edible. You can put them in salad, or you can dip them in breading and fry them, and they taste really good. Well, we'll leave it there, and we'll hope for the best. If not, I can still remove that in the next few days and still put it in scrambled eggs or something. I will get to this later. Now here, nothing really, because I have been working in the chair garden, and I'm done. I'm analyzing what I'm going to put here, looking at things. Look at this tree colored. 5-gallon bucket, and it's still going strong. The leaves are small, but that's okay. I'm not even feeding anything in there, so it's getting fallen leaves. That did not make it. That froze with the bad weather, so I'm pretty sure that eggplant is gone. I might get another one in there. The peppers, the black cobras, are doing really good. It needs a really good grooming. I think I'll sit down on a chair and groom it. Same thing with this Fresno. It keeps throwing peppers. They're beautiful, but it's really struggling in the grow bag. So I might put that in something else. Maybe I'll move it to a tote. Keep the one pepper plant in a tote, and then use a grow bag for something else. Let's see what is here. Look at this. This is what I'm talking about. You get one plant in here. Yes, there's a tomato plant trying to grow in the pot there. Now, I don't know what seeds are coming up here. Look at this. It could be a squash. I didn't know that was in there, and it rotted away. Did exactly what nature wanted it to do, and now it's coming up. So I don't know what it is, but right now this is the only thing really growing in here. And look how big this is. One Swiss chard, I've seen the leaves double that size, will grow so big in a small tote. You start putting more in there, then you end up with little leaves. It's whatever you want. This will probably go out. Where is this? Oh, this is from last year also. Another squash. There's a tree collard fallen down. My daughter told me she ended up with no tree collards this year. They cleaned up their yard. I'll probably send that to her. Here's some red vein sorrel. I'll probably leave it here just because. Clean this up, freshen this up, and leave it. It's their green sorrel. Here is a zucchini I put here. So cool. Now, I need to get all these out. This is Malabar spinach. Don't worry if I pull them all out. They're coming up everywhere. They now grow here like weeds. When the weather warms up a little bit, they grow great, but I don't want it in there because it will pull nutrition from the squash, and I want my zucchini. All this has to be redone. I didn't know. Remember we had a break-in? He stepped on that. When he broke one of these other totes, he smashed it. I think I had to replace one of them. He stepped on that when all the plants died back. I found that that's his footprint there. And then again, too many Swiss. See, this is what happens when you have too many Swiss chards in here. You had a whole bunch of plants growing in here. See how small the leaves are? And see how big the leaves are on that one? One plant, one container, do better. Now this is blueberries. Isn't that cool? It's not in here. There's my zucchini, and that is in its own pot. I haven't even transferred it. I don't even know if I want to. I can't ask for anything better than that. I guess I could size, but look at this. It's full of blueberries. It never got planted. Could be a good thing. Oh, the rabbits found my lettuce down there. I saw that. Yep, they found my lettuce. And then another field of lettuce that I can pull from, but I think they're getting old. I'll probably start new. Haven't touched any of these. What I'm going to do with these upside down planters, and I'm probably going to gut them all and put lettuce in there. It's off the ground. I won't have to worry about the rabbits eating it, and I can control it with a little shade. I can put some irrigation tubing there to give it shade, and then put a flag or something on it if I need, so we'll see. Celery, another place I had garlic. Had all my garlic in here. The celery probably did help wipe out the garlic, but I'll tell you, it was the weather. The constant cold, wet, it just didn't work. Look at this. You see him? There he is. He ate my lettuce. That's okay. It's absolutely perfectly fine. You know I've got a ton of it. So no, the garlic didn't make it here. And I'm going to have to be very careful. There's orange mint down here. I can tell because I know the mint. It's very green. It smells like oranges. And that I like to put in eggs and stuff. That is really good. So I'll have to be careful and be aware of too much dampness and too cold of a temperature. And the onions here don't do that well. You know, I've looked at this 1,000 times to take out and compost, and it is doing absolutely beautiful. It is by itself in a tote. It's got a pot right there, which I fill with water that helps the roots. It's growing in what, 5 inches of soil. It is not going through the tote because the tote's got holes up high, as you can see. If I leave it and then see what I want to do with it later, I save myself time on planting it up. I think I'm going to leave it. It came up because the ravens dropped the pit in there. And you know, I wouldn't mind to learn to graft because I can't remember offhand what kind of avocados we have, but we have a really good variety, and it wouldn't matter which variety that is if I graft it. I'm probably going to leave it. More lettuce. This is, again, seeds were in here. I can pull these lettuce. Now, why can I pull these? The leaves are soft. It's not even trying to go to seed. If I took out the carrots, the onions, and just kept it well watered, these lettuce would get massive and high. But they're doing really good. This is sow thistle. Let's take the sow thistle out. Let's throw it in there. And then I can come back later and clean this up. But they're doing really good, these lettuce, right here. Carrots, peel the carrots, and yes, I do pull carrots from here. Got to clean that up. And again, all these. I have to do something with that, and haven't done a single thing. Last year I grew cabbage in there, and then the rest of them had tomatoes, and I had basil. So we'll see. I have not gotten to this at all. Now let's go in the front yard. This is the same exact story I told you 2 weeks ago. I don't think I can tell you anything new or different here. I'm thinking, aren't the geraniums on the fence beautiful? I am going to take some of this down. I'm going to take all this down, the broccoli and everything here, because I do want to get some more squash in here. It does really well. I'm going to clean that big tote out back there and figure out what I want to put there. And then I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the back. This is all different types of brassicas. I've got a bunch of purple sprouting broccoli in here. You saw that last month. I might actually train those up and keep them, because this was nice. It will save me time, and I can layer with pots, maybe a field of walking onions. Look at this. And I'm composting all that. You know what my daughter told me? She said she must have waited till too late. She composted all her tree collards, and she said instead of them composting down, she had totes full of tree collards growing. That means the seeds were ready. They must have been brown. Chocolate mint, red vein sorrel, beautiful flat leaf celery, and then again you saw that I used most of it. The purple sprouting broccoli, that is just grass growing from bird seeds. And I've got a fan palm. Here's Mom. Look at this. That's Mom. If I decide to keep this and put it in the bird garden, I've got to make sure those roots don't leave, because that's the last thing I need, and Gary would not be happy. Aren't they beautiful? Look at the walking onions, they're walking. See how they do that? I have none that are midway through. Let's see. They've already all come to the top. They start at the bottom, and this bulge goes up, 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 up. And when it reaches the top, it looks like this. And you think, oh, it's going to open to a flower. But it doesn't. Look. It opens to baby walking onions. Is that cool? Then you can either eat the sets or grow them or give them away. They are really my favorite onion, and they taste so good. Let's see, any of these? No, they've all come to the top. This one hasn't come to the top yet. See how it's all still, in the, down on the bottom here? It's going to go all the way to the top, and then it's going to burst open. And I wouldn't mind to set up more better. This is a blueberry. It's been here for years. This is not the way to grow blueberries. Not with a great big tree collar next to it. A lot of insects right now. They're really stressing. Look at all the aphids. I'm just going to compost all of them. The birds have been coming in to eat them, but the problem is our weather turned again. It went from being warm for about a week, and then we got cold again, and that really is hard on the plants. The hot, the cold, the hot, the cold. So what are you going to do? I'm not worried about it. I'm thinking of a garden. We'll talk about that another time. More red vein sorrel. Look at this. I've got chamomile. This is exciting because I haven't grown it in 2 years, and it came up. So I want to collect some. Look at this. Ooh. Okay, now I did it. We're going to remember, where should we put it? Now when I go, wow, there's chamomile there. How did that get there? Please remind me that I took it during a garden tour and I threw it in there because I will forget. I do want to collect some of the seeds and get that going because, like I said, I haven't grown it in 2 years and it must need a lot of water. Here's more coming up. That's how it starts. I did throw some seeds in here. So it was the rain it needed. But I'm going to clean this up. Look at this. I found this tucked away. Okay, he's not in there. There was a little bee in there earlier flying around. So anyways, I found it tucked away and then I walked by it. It was only there a day and the bee came out like, leave me alone. More geraniums everywhere. I love geraniums. If you would have listened to my videos 5 years ago, I would have said, oh, I can't stand them. I didn't, but as you get older, you start to appreciate the little things in life that take no time or effort out of your life, and then you go, why in the world have I not been setting up more geraniums? Because I know the moths love them, the hummingbird moths, they love them. Hummingbirds even go through. I don't believe there's really any pollen in there for them, but there could be, it could be insects that hide in there, and they might be going in there for that. It's hard to say. I do see the hummingbirds looking in there, but I don't think it's one of the flowers that you would consider it having well, no nectar. There might be a little bit of pollen. Here's a pink variety. See, and that one is more of a lavender, but they are just gorgeous. Look, they are very easy to grow. See, even there. You take a piece, you stick it in a pot with soil, and you don't have to do anything. You don't have to dry it. Wait till it calluses over. You don't have to do anything. If it breaks off like here and falls on the ground, it grows. That's how it grows in Southern California. This week, I am putting my ginger and turmeric back. I have not done it yet. I kept waiting for this little piece of turmeric to show signs of life. Oh, wait a minute. That is signs of life. Do you see that? Right there. I checked it yesterday. It did not have that. And that's what I'm waiting for. So now I definitely will do it this week. And I know I'll get this topped up with a little more soil. It's going to be very simple. This is all prepped and ready to go. There's leaves in there, just like I do my totes and containers. Everything is already in there. I'm sure there's earthworms and stuff in there, microbes. Now I'm going to lay the ginger out, lay the turmeric out, and then cover it with either potting soil, some cheap potting soil, or soil from another tote, maybe something mixed, and then water it, and it will do its thing. This is stevia, and this one's still in the original pot. Look at that. You see that? That's the original pot. I never took it out. I didn't bother with it. So when the weather warms up, it'll do okay. This is not in a pot. It looks a little yellow. Probably because we keep changing our weather, but I'm not worried about it. And this has nothing in it. Okay, now let's go into, the bird garden. Now we're in the bird garden. I'm slowly working my way through. I am gonna trim that tree colored more. That's a plain green tree color. And then look at all the walking onions. They're all pregnant. See how it goes up? Isn't that cool? See how it's a long ways to go. It travels. It literally will travel up to the top, and then they'll burst out baby onions. I'm working in here to get this thing set up. This is going right here. I don't know if you saw the video or not, but see how it's already collapsing? I had it almost to here, and now everything is breaking down. It's exactly what I wanted, and as soon as I find the time, I'm gonna just collect some old soil. I'm gonna throw everything in there, and then I'm gonna get ready to plant. I'm really excited. And look at all the dragon fruit plants I've got in here. Talk about dragon fruit. We're going to have so much. I actually should cut this. And this is aerial roots. I could stick this in the ground and that would grow. I don't know how much of this I'm going to leave. These have spikes. And let me tell you something. They get me all the time. But there's so much of it. I could put that in a pot. That would be fun to grow. Put in a 5-gallon pot and see what happens. Maybe right next to it. Lemon verbena is coming back. This is the purple tree color. This one's the original I bought on eBay. There were 3 and only 1 made it. But it is going over the side, over the back, into the secret garden. Maybe we'll look at the secret garden. I haven't even looked at it for weeks. I've been working on so many other things. But that is the original. And then I've got some that I picked up from CPG once. And, oh, I've got them all over. And the rest are from them. More geraniums back there. You can't beat that. You put a piece there. Oh, you want a little color? Stick a piece of geranium here in Southern California and it will grow. But I'm excited about this. I can't wait to get this planted up. More walking onions. Here is the brassica that I put in the pot. You probably saw the video. It's doing fantastic. Here's another one. See, they're struggling right now with a lot of powdery mildew. So I'm going to go through and get all that out, probably from the front yard too, and just get it in containers and get it growing. Oh, we need to put more food out. I feel like I just did. The birds come here to feed all day. Look at the flowers. Look at the flowers. Look at that. I got a bottle under there. Look, this is the salvia. Isn't this gorgeous? And this is the hummingbird's lunch. It's just beautiful. In here, I'm going to leave the flowers for now, coming off the different brassicas for the bees to feed on. There's bees already on there right now. But throughout the rest of the yard, I'm going to start to trim it back. You won't have anything to eat when you let it grow like this, because the leaves are so tiny. I mean, you can eat them, but it stops growing. And that's probably why this is stressing so much, because it's not taking care of the big leaves anymore as much as it should. It's taking care of its babies, which are the flowers that turn into seeds. So for that, oh, wow. And that's why I'm going to start trimming them. I want to get more of the brassicas. Look at this. I haven't let it flower. This is sprouting broccoli. And look at the yellow flowers. Isn't that cool? The purple is turning into yellow flowers. Really cool. Okay, you can see this now because I trimmed all this away, but I still want to get it cleaned up. We've got a lot of geraniums back there that had died off. You know, see all the stems there, and I'll clean that up. I do have new geraniums back there, and they're already coming up. They're like orange. So once I clear that away, it'll be really nice. I haven't done anything here. No, what did I miss here? Let's see. Oh, the only thing is I should bring this up. I'm going to clear this out. Get rid of this. Those totes now are 7 years old. And I think they're in really good condition. When you think about it, they are here in the sun all day, morning till night, and they're doing really good. The only crack is here, and that's because I had a broccoli that was leaned over and it busted it. It was my fault. But I think they're in good condition. I wouldn't try to move them. I don't know what they would do if I moved them. So I'm going to take out a bunch, you know, just sit there with a chair and just shovel out a little bit, add in more stuff from the garden. We got plenty of flowers and cuttings I can do. And get something going in there. And instead of planting directly in there, I might plant one thing. I might layer the whole thing with pots. I think that'll work a lot better. But I do have mint back there, and there's more mint here. Look at that butterfly. And then on top here, maybe I'll go with just walking onions. You don't really want mint up here. Why? Because mint needs a lot of water. So I might go with walking onions there. And maybe I'll put a flower pot in the center of each one, because when you have a pot, a plastic pot, it holds more water. And then here's my chocolate mint. And here, oh, it's the strawberry mint. See the leaf difference on that? My neighbor was given strawberry mint. She says, oh, it's so beautiful. I'm going to cook with it. I said, who gave it to you? A neighbor. She said I could have it. I looked at it and I said, it still has the tag from the store. She says, yeah, she gave it to me. Have you tried it? She said, no. I busted out laughing. They did. And they gave it to her. I said, let me get you some other mint for cooking. It wouldn't be strawberry mint. Maybe you like it, but I'll tell you, oh my gosh, chocolate mint is my favorite to put in my tea or just put in water. It tastes so good. All right, so I think I've covered everything that way. This is going to have flowers. This is an emu plant that's upright with pink flowers. Oh, and this one is kind of a droops a little bit, but see the beautiful flowers? The hummingbirds love that. That's another emu plant. So you got this one grows as a bush, and that one grows tall. I don't know if I have any papayas back there. I haven't seen them, but I had papayas in that area under the gazebo, and I think with all the freeze, we lost those, so we'll see. I'm gonna take all this out. It's not worth it. I might take some cuttings off of this dazzling blue kale, but I'm gonna take it all out. My plans, like I said last year, but we'll see how much time I've got, is to get everything out of there, maybe leave the beautiful walking onions, and put layers in there. In other words, buckets or pots. Then I don't have to redo anything in there. See, all I have to do is drop a pot in there with fresh, when I say fresh soil, I mean soil from the garden. All these leaves, this is gold. See these yellow leaves? This is not a joke. This is gold. Load up a pot, put a little bit of soil, whether I take it from the ground, whether I take it from a bag, then plant in it, and you grow so many great things that I don't have to do anything but just layer. I'm gonna layer and layer. Here I'm gonna change this up. I'm hoping I can get to it. Oh, those are all purple tree collards back there. Well, it's actually purple tree collards as far as the eye can see. This is fun. This is massive. This tall, big, what is it? 5, 6, 7, 8, that's close to 10 foot tall, tree collared is a baby off of the one that grew here years ago. I think it was right here, and it grew to about 15 feet. And I thought we tried to by the time I knew it was dying, it started to rot. That's how fast it went. So I took a piece and I shoved it in this tote, and I didn't expect it to grow at all, and it lived, and look at that. I've got to get a lot off of it. It's supporting itself with that limb that fell that way, that limb that fell this way, which is this. There's a limb that goes in the back. It's supported that way. I don't know if the roots have left that or not. I think I can move it because we had to move it when we had plumbing issues. We were moving a lot of stuff around last year, and at that point, when I stuck it in, it was shorter, much shorter. It hadn't left the tote because the holes are up. So no matter what, it's the only thing in there, and it continuously take leaves and stuff and throw it in there. See the brown leaves? Which is constantly feeding this, but this is amazing. But these are fantastic cuttings. You could take this, cut it here, remove almost all the leaves and just leave top leaves, and you would have a great big tree colored right away from that plant. That's in the ground, not in that bucket. The bucket's next to it. See, it's in the ground? Doing fantastic. The garlic chives are in the ground. So all in all, everything's doing really good. I'm really happy. Now this, I don't know. This is the only one that, no, actually, that one now has green growth. I wasn't sure on that. I saw this yesterday. This one, I'm going to try to cut this. The problem is papayas are hollow. They're not trees. So I don't know if I cut it, if it will live, but I will tell you for sure the top is browned out and dead. So we'll see. I'm hoping it's going to make a comeback. If it makes a comeback, I'm going to try to do something here that I wanted to do. I want to kind of do a real fancy thing around it. Gary was going to build me something with cement. I don't think it's worth it because eventually, I mean, how long can you grow this much in an 18-gallon tote? I mean, this tote's been smashed. It was that big, and now it's that big. And I mean, they broke through. There's their roots. And I don't know how long it will live for, but oh, I would love to have this thing live for another few years. They actually don't live like a tree for 20, 30, 40 years. They don't normally live that long. But they drop fruit, and then they continue, like here, to grow new ones. See, this is growing from the bottom. Sometimes they grow side shoots from the bottom and all over, see. See, I'm not sure 100% where those are coming from, but I think they were seeds. I had dumped some seeds in there. We'll see. Time will tell, but that actually gives me great hope because I looked at this the other day and I told Gary about a week ago, I think they're going to be, I'm afraid they're not going to come back, that they're done. And then I saw yesterday the green growth there, but now there, and I'm hoping that one gets green growth. That one looks like it's getting green growth, so maybe I will end up with some because I lost all of them on the outside. Sunflowers. I'm going to see if I can move some of these. Coming up because, see, I got compost that I brought out and it got rained on. That's all right. I'm going to dump it in a tote. The next tote, I better remember I set up. Just dump it in, muck and all, just the way it is. It's fine. It'll get into the soil that I put in there, the leaves, and the microbes will clean it up for me. I'm hoping I can move some of those sunflowers because the birds get the bird seed. This is the sunflower from the bird seed. And then what happens is, see all the grasses? That's from the bird seed. And a squirrel comes, finds some, stuffs its mouth, comes over here, digs a hole, and saves it for a rainy day. The thing is that nature has made them not that smart. So this way, when it rains, it grows. And in the meantime, the squirrel has completely forgotten where he put it. Look at this. I think this is called scarlet kale. Isn't this beautiful? Now this is struggling too right now, so I've got to do a really good cleaning. I don't spray. We don't spray at all, but I'll come out here with a hose. I'll wash all the insects right off on the ground, and I'll take a lot of these leaves off and then just let it start over, and it should be fine. Plus, I do need to do a lot of cuttings and clean that all up. Okay. I don't think there's anything in Gary's room to see. No, I've got a lot of seeds. I don't know what he's doing in here. Let's take a look real quick. He's not there. He's got his seeds growing. This is what I want to show you. Okay, we got to get my dragon fruit out. That's dragon fruit. And look at this. Culantro. There's only one problem with this. I only pulled out 2 the other day, and they didn't make it. Well, let's put it this way. They didn't make it in my opinion. They look like they're on their way out. So I've got to figure out how to get them out of there. But the problem is I get them out and this room is so nice and warm. I don't even know. It says it's about, what is it? 70 something degrees. And sometimes at night it cools down. This room does not. So I have to figure out how I'm going to do that. So we'll see. But right now, I think the only things in here that are mine are the culantro and the dragon fruit. You know what? I'm going to leave it open. All right. So anything else? I have no idea what else he's growing in there. Let me close the door. But I am going to get them out. That is without a doubt. One way or another, there's so many in there, I should get some of those to grow without a problem. I've got some growing in my kitchen. Again, I'm afraid to move them because they're so sensitive. Strawberries growing in a grow bag. I'm going to change that out, but yep, strawberries. And then this is the other salvia growing here. This is in a pot. I want to get that transferred too, so the hummingbirds will have a bigger plant. My beautiful rosemary. Isn't that gorgeous? I don't think you can see it, but I'm going to do something really stupid. Like I have time way down there on the fallen tree. I'm actually thinking of building an herb garden. It's only temporary. And it's only experimental. I don't know if you can see it from here. It's right there. I'm going to try it down there and see if anything in the wilderness bothers it. If nothing bothers it, then I'll make an herb garden. If it does, I'm done. That's simple. Okay, so like I said, all the papayas are pretty much done. I lost that one. It's falling over. I'll have Gary compost that. I don't know if these will make it. See what's happened with the cold? No matter how I tried to protect them. This one's green. Is it going to make a comeback? It's not in the cardboard box. I planted it in the cardboard box. It left the box, but it's just too cold. See how this is no good? Oh, see? It's no good. Green on the top. I'm not even going to try it. I've got new seeds. They grow really fast once you grow them right, and it's not worth it for me to struggle with something like that. Look at that. The pomegranates are doing beautiful. Wow, I need to trim that back. I don't want them that big. Want to go through these containers and do something else with them. There's more rosemary. See this? I showed you this papaya already fell down. Bottle brush is doing good. Yeah, they're tropical plants, the papaya, so they were not happy with freezing temperature for so long. Onions are doing okay. I should start pulling some that are in between because they're overcrowded. Check them and pull them out. And then these are the potatoes I need to harvest. They're done. I haven't done anything, but I am so excited about this. I think I showed this two weeks ago. It's a cutting I picked up. I had no idea what it was going to look like. Isn't that something? I was somewhere and I saw it. I broke a piece off and it was that big. And look at that. I have to get it out. It's in this pot, just sitting in my 2-system compost bucket. And I need to pull it out and do some more cuttings off of that because that is Absolutely spectacular. And I'm not sure, but my pepper plant, habanero, they might make a comeback. I just have to freshen that soil. That soil has gone too kind of mucky. So if I dig around it and put in some leaf matter and different stuff, I can rebuild the soil. Big tree is coming back slowly. And here I haven't really done too much. I've got a broccoli I planted in here in this bucket. I've got the eggplant that I moved from somewhere else, and I don't know if it will make it. If I get in here and start working and it looks like that, it's coming out. The mustard is doing fantastic. I got to use this lettuce before I lose it. Look how big it is. The lettuce growing in here, another 2 system. And like I said, I haven't done anything in here. This I'm going to leave. This is my pepinos, and they're making a beautiful comeback. And I think I lost the pepper back there, which I'm thinking of redoing this whole thing and putting a different, hold it. That stem is green. I don't know. Maybe I'll move this pepper, and if it comes back, it comes back. It's a black cobra. Yeah, it is green. I'd rather have something else in there, a sweeter red pepper, but I'll see. And then more red vein sorrel, which has done really good for years. This is the old zinnias from last year. Oh, look! The seedlings are coming up. Okay, so we be careful with this. We water this and let the new ones come up. This is from birdseed and stuff that gets around. And then on the bottom, I'm starting to put more plants. I'm not going to have a bunch of buckets catching water due to all the mosquitoes here. So I'll water more lightly and let the water go down and settle into these buckets. And then whenever I want earthworms, I don't know if they'll be under here right now. Oh, yes! Look! Look, look. See how damp it is? This is why I say layer, layer, layer when you're growing. Because this is what happens in your totes, in your buckets. If you can layer, be it a small pot or a big pot, it doesn't matter. There is life underneath containers, and your plants really love it. So I've got constantly a good source of soil. You could even stick leaves under a bucket and it will all break down, and you'll be creating soil. Here's the milkweed that came up on its own. And then look at this. I've got to get this out. Now this is no joke. I've got tomatoes coming up. I've got mustard, which is no big deal. There's not a massive root system, but these are all watermelon. If I can't figure out in the next week where to put it, what I may end up doing is just put them in 6-packs. I've got a whole bunch of empty 6-packs because I recycle all that, you know, from the nursery when you buy plants. And then I'll decide later what I'm going to do with it. But I've got a whole bunch in there, and I think, yep, there's 3 there, and then there's 1 there. So I should remove at least 1 of those. I could leave that one right there, and then take 1 more out and maybe leave 3. Last year I did 3. Change that out. This is a 2 system. This is potatoes. They're just making a comeback here. So there's probably going to be potatoes in there soon, but it's growing in that bucket. So it's not affecting the tote at all. And this is another milkweed that came up. That's it. There's nothing else. This is from last year. It's going to be all taken apart. This is where I do a lot of my cuttings. I just put them in these totes. And we have made a full circle. Oh, the pizza. This I'm really happy with. Look at this. There's my sage flowering and beautiful. Here's the tricolor sage. This is a cutting. I believe that's basil coming up. There's a little bit of thyme down there. I'm starting to put cuttings from this one. And that probably took away from the peppers. On top of that, the cold. There is a pepper plant back here that is still green. I think I'm going to try to pull this out, put it in the pot. If it doesn't make it, doesn't make it. I'll leave it just the way it is because I've got the rosemary. I've got oregano. And then down here, I've got sweet basil. All that is coming up. See how it grows? Flat. So that's basil. That is fantastic. I have everything I need to make my homemade gluten-free pizza in there. So I'm not going to worry about the peppers right now. I'm not going to put tomatoes in there like I did last year. I had tomatoes growing with the rosemary. Don't need to do that. And then in here, I'm still not sure, but I have an entire cupful in the house of the sweet peppers that were growing in there. I kept the seeds, I started them, and they're growing. And I'm almost thinking of doing this in all peppers because I love those peppers. You can eat 10 of them, they're not hot. I know a lot of you love your hot, but I like it when it's not that hot. Or I can use a whole bunch of peppers and then mix in a black cobra, a Fresno, or a habanero, and add some heat to it that way without burning my delicate throat out. So anyways, I don't know. So we have made a complete circle. I am really excited with everything. I am so excited with the chair garden because that one, I think, is going to give you tons of ideas. you're going to be able to look in there and say, hey, I like the way she did that, or I could tweak that and change it, and it's going to be fantastic. And you'll see stuff that I did over a year ago in there, 2 years ago in there, and all the new stuff I'm doing, including what's under that orange curtain. So with that, have a wonderful day, and don't forget to eat what you grow. Bye-bye. I know, I told you we're going to take a peek at the secret garden. Let's go do that. I haven't been there. I've been so busy with everything else. There's probably nothing here. Oregano. Look at that. Growing with the geranium. Ooh, this looks like the soil is giving away. Maybe not a place for me to hang out right now. All right, now here's the geraniums here that you saw coming from the top. This is purple tree color that looks very green. Let's see if I can get through without the hillside going. And we've got water back here. It's actually quite beautiful back here. We've got a bunch of geraniums growing back there. They're just falling. Pieces fall and even seeds fall. And then here are the dragon fruit. Gary planted some of those. So this will be really nice. Right now it's going to be mainly dragon fruit, but I need to get cuttings off of, geez, which tree is it? I know which tree it is. I believe it's this one. This is my strawberry fig tree. We'll have to do a whole video on this. This is the one the birds absolutely love, and I'm going to do a ton of cuttings. I should have already done it, but it's so easy to do cuttings. So that's basically it. This is another fig tree. It's a very good fig, but it's not a strawberry fig. I grew the strawberry fig from seed, I believe. And I did make a video 5 years ago, and then I stepped away from here. I had stuff growing, I was setting up, and it was just too much work to come down here. I mean, look, if I fall down the hill, I go into Gary's garden. Well, Gary's garden is that way, see? And then that way is the path, and that's where I'm going to think about setting up an herb garden, but I'm not 100% sure yet. I've got a nectarine tree there. I'm not sure what, might be a laurel sumac down there. And these are avocado trees. Some of these are coming up from the roots. So they're really small black avocado trees, avocados, and they're a little bit stringy, but they're so good, you can put it through a sieve. But we have some avocados that are fantastic. Yep, this is the, let me move over here. This one is the original purple tree colored, and there's more on this side than there is in the bird garden right now, but that's all right. Soon this will be filled with hundreds of dragon fruit. Do you know Gary picked a dragon fruit a few days ago? A few days ago, and ate it. Unbelievable. I said, you're still picking them? And he said, yeah, but when it started to get really cold again, he did something. He took it off with the branch, and it finished, and it's just fantastic. See all the little seeds? All this makes great compost because the plant is putting all its nutrition in there. So I can't wait to come back here and collect all this and make more soil for my garden. Okay, I told you I was gonna come back here, and I almost forgot, and we got to see it. There's a lot of places that I could put a tote and put something special. What would be special? What would be special? I don't know, I'll have to think about it. Maybe just get some more purple tree colors started back here, and then move them where I need them. Put some pots and stuff. This is where the birds feed and take a bath. See all those brown leaves? I've got to make a path so I can get to it and get that all off, because that actually makes the plant struggle as well. But look at all the flowers. That's really pulling on these plants. So the plant is doing what it's supposed to do, but it's not feeding us, but we have plenty, so I don't worry about it. See how the birds going in the bird feeders? Isn't it cool? This is beautiful. Little birds flying back and forth. So now again, with that, have a wonderful day. Don't forget to eat what you grow. Bye-bye. Look at that. Malabar spinach. It grows everywhere.